Much for making time.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Right, we're talking about the Public Service Commission. Let's just start off with, for people to understand, what is the mandate of the Public Service Commission?
Thank you very much, Fatia, for this, and I welcome Kenyans to just understand that the Public Service Commission is a constitutional commission, and we have several mandates, and there are 16 of them, and the one that fits into perhaps our today's discussion is that which fits within the Article 10 and Article 232 of the Constitution.
Right.
However, the mandate of the Constitution is in the Article 234, and they range from where we are talking about creation of offices and appointing people to those offices, to disciplinary, to everything. But more importantly, for this one, we want to zero into the issue of principles, values and principles of public service and in governance.
Let's talk about those values then. What are these values and what are the importance of having these values at the Public Service Commission?
Yeah, thank you very much. We start with the national values of governance, and they touch on issues of patriotism, where we love our country, the motherland we have, the sharing of power as we know it today. We're talking about human dignity, promoting that, and also social justice, inclusiveness, and good governance, and more importantly, sustainable development. That is where we are thinking about the national values and principles at that level. Then that is found in Article 10 of the Constitution. In Article 232, it stipulates very well the values and principles in the public service. That when we, as Kenyans, we expect service. And for that service to reach to the Kenyans, there are those very critical values and principles that need to be adhered to. Among them is observing the high standards of professionalism, and also having efficient, effective, and economic use of resources. Where resources, Fatia, it includes time.
Right.
The citizens want to be given to have service timely. They want to have value for their money. And that becomes very critical for the Commission and indeed the public service. Kenyans have issues, and so they want responses from our officers everywhere to give them solutions to their issues. They also want to have it effective. It has to be prompt.
Right.
And we also talk about the being accountable. And sometimes we wonder, why do people want to feel like the government is accountable to them? It's because we are given a job to do, and the government's business is to provide service to the citizens. And in having policies also, the citizen want to be involved. And part of the value is to have public participation in policy-making processes.
Right.
So when we talk about these values, we want to ask ourselves, where have we gone wrong, Fatia? Why are we not getting there quickly? And it is because we have not had enough of this one preached to us. I'm thinking of it even getting too close to being indoctrinated. That you wake up and you think about that number in the file to mean family, to mean a person, not just moving it around. That is where we have all these values. There are quite a number of them. And we also, when you're talking about values, Fatia, we want to have our inclusive Kenya even in the promotions, in the getting people to jobs. we look at the gender, we look at people from marginalized areas, we worry about people living with a disability, and they are all supposed to be included in this provision of service. Indeed, we want to see transparency, and that's why people ask, we want to know. Right to information. It's not even a privilege, it's a right and correct information. So these values and principles, Fatia, if we go to Article 10 of the Constitution and Article 232, it becomes very clear for us to get services closer and faster and more efficient to the Kenyan citizens.
Right, of course.
And that's what they need.
Yes. I mean, you're talking about the values and the principles here just to ensure efficiency and service delivery. Before we get into that conversation about the internships now, I do know there's a report that is supposed to be launched on Friday with the president being there, and it's on the status of compliance with values and principles in accordance with the Article 10.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about it?
Yes, Fatia, on Friday is a big day for the Commission. We are having His Excellency the President coming to launch this report, and then it will roll out to the public. And so the scope, first, how did the Commission get to having the report? We went over 477 institutions across the country to look at the extent to which the values and principles of governance, principles and values in public service have been achieved. And from these ministries and SAGA and universities, all the public institutions, we realized that there is marked improvement from previous years as to the compliance. We are not there, Fatia, but I guess we are not where we started.
Right.
We are moving, and the improvement has been from past year. It was we have now gone to about 2% improvement, which is a good thing. And at 42%, we are good, but we can be better.
Can do better.
So, and these values and principles, Fatia, they cannot be learned too late in life. Sometimes we need to mainstream these values and principles in our everyday life. That includes our education system, includes every day that we do. On Friday, we are going to have this launch and rolling out of the principles and values and principles. What this means is that from Friday going forward, ministries are going to take more keen interest in getting it mainstreamed, where they are short of not being able to do too much, do it very well. So that next year, Fatia, when we come here, the values and principles will be on a higher note than they are today.
Right.
What is this report about? It has covered 4 major areas. First, the measurement taken to promote and these values and principles in the public service. So there's a whole chapter on that. We have also looked at the progress that has been made over the year and looked at the challenges and provided recommendations on how to better do and provide for the values and principles in the provision of service to the Kenyans.
Right.
And for this, Fatia, just to conclude, is we have included all ministries have been very good, and MDAs and the state corporations, everybody, TVET, is all on board. So we are looking for a brighter, better future going forward as these values become part of what we do in provision of service to Kenyans.
Right, that's very important, of course. But now let's just focus now on the Public Service Internship Program, the PSIP, that is also in the report, I believe. Yes. We do know that university graduates now are supposed to be offered at least 1-year internship in government ministry. So just tell us a bit about that.
Yes, thank you, Fatia. The internship program began in 2019 when we started the first cohort. On Friday, we shall be commissioning the 5th cohort. So over these last 3 years, we've had 4 cohorts already. There's a few people finishing this year. And the whole idea of the public internship program is to provide the young graduates with an opportunity to transit from the classroom to the workplace, the workspace. And then in this, we expect them to learn skills, public ethos, even these public, the values and principles of public service is going to be inculcated in them the year that they are going to be in public service. Now, the public service internship program runs for a year. It's a 12-month training, doing all the kind of networking and getting a little stipend that they get at the end of every month. Now, we have seen growth in people wanting to join public service internship program. When we started in 2019, the applicants were about 18,000. Subsequently, we had 46,000, all of them fighting for 3,000 positions.
Because that's what I wanted to ask in terms of like criteria of picking who's going to get that internship. How has that been?
The criteria is very simple, Fatia. The ministries give us the need that they have space for them. They tell us they want 2 lawyers, they want whoever they want. And from that, we are able to now say that for the applicants that we get, we must get for those ministries that have the slot that they can train these interns. So we cannot even give enough because the ministry, the MDAs, they have always wanted over 10,000 interns. We can only provide 3,000, maximum 3,500 because of financial constraints. We have, and we are thankful to the government that they have consistently given us 1 billion, which goes strictly, all of it, to the stipend for these interns.
And so let's talk about now the stipend. I mean, do they actually get those stipends now that they're in their 5th cohort? The 5th cohort, right?
We are starting a new 5th cohort.
Starting a new 5th cohort. In terms of that stipend, after how long do they get it?
They get it from the first month they join the program. And if you, for example, those who are joining in April, they will go through until April next year. Yeah, so it's a 12-month, depending on where you start. Monthly. Right. It's a monthly stipend of 25,000 Kenya shillings. It's little money, but it's a lot, particularly when it is tied to training and getting skills and giving somebody an exposure that they probably will not have gotten in their schools, in their universities, as it were.
Right.
Now, it's interesting, Fatia, to note that the internship program, as it stands now, takes care of the breadth and width of the country. There is not a single ward, administrative or political ward, in the country that is not represented. And we have endeavored to pay attention to the gender and to the people from marginalized areas and the people living with a disability to be included in this program so that all of us, Kenya is felt, it is all inclusive, and this gives us the face of Kenya in the program.
Right, finally, I just want to know, are there any challenges or any successes from these internship programs?
The challenges will be there because the expectations of the young Kenyans is very high, that after internship, so what? And that's a challenge which we cannot address like immediately, because the job market is quite small compared to the people that are coming out of the universities. However, for the internship, for the interns, we take over 10%. We have taken over 10% of the interns in the public service. Many more have gone into private sector. Others have found other ways of living. I want to mention that the internship program gives hope. Think of somebody who has graduated 5 years ago, has been out there in the village, and suddenly has this opportunity. Those who have grabbed it have moved further than just even getting the employment. And we tie this to the needs of Kenyans. These young people are ICT savvy as they are. They are so useful in the ministries. They even give more energy. They energize the existing public service with their new knowledge. And of course, they are young.
Definitely.
Yeah, so they are an asset. And this is an opportunity that we are actually saying it is perhaps our bottom-up approach, because they don't have to know anybody to be brought on board. We go through a process of interviews, they are selected, and we ensure that we spread them across the entire country, which is a good thing. So if you come on Friday, Fatia, what you see in that hall will be the entire country in its totality.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you for that. That was Dr. Mary Mwandi, if I got your name right. She's the Commissioner for Public Service Commission. Thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Thank you very much, Fatia.
Right.
Yes.
Let's just move on now. Kenya African National Union, KANU, has condemned the invasion of the private property linked to the former First family in Kiambu County. Now, KANU accuses some politicians of inciting the youth to invading the private farm. KANU accuses the politicians of linking the ongoing protest to former President Uhuru Kenyatta, claiming that he was covertly funding the protests. Right, that's it for News Center. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Fatia Noor. I want us to just go back to the Kalasha Awards ceremony that is currently happening.